4:30 in the morning, the sun is fully out. That's the sun on my face. I don't have a key light fixed up just there on the camera, despite being a pro. 4:30 in the morning, Queensland, the daylight saving, we've got to sort it out. It's like the sun's already up. We're fully in the daytime. What are we doing here? Proof there. Just doing another bushwalk straight after waking up, fasted. Not a big proponent of doing anything fasted, to be honest, but I wasn't hungry. And when you're doing such low intensity exercise, like 1 hour 15, 1 hour 30, walking around, not even in aerobic heart rate zone, the proportion of fuel you're using that's from glycogen or sugars is nothing almost. So you're just burning extra calories. It's free calories. It's also nice to just walk around. So every day, probably in the afternoon mostly, or in the early evening, hour 15, hour 30 walk, free calories. But yeah, not a huge low carb or fasted person. Like if you try to do a serious training ride or any serious cardiovascular exercise with some sort of threshold or even tempo component, let alone like anaerobic, then doing that fasted, especially cycling for 2 hours, is just, you're not going to perform well. Now maybe if you go out, run it, you got full glycogen stores from eating a lot of carbohydrate the day before or the days before, or enough, and then you do a 5k full gas without having too much in the morning, that's not going to make too much of a difference, because in 20 minutes or however long it takes you to run a 5k, you're not going to deplete your glycogen stores sufficiently that it actually will affect your performance too much. Now obviously it's preferable to have something, a bit of light amount of sugars or something beforehand, but yeah, that doesn't really make too much of a difference. But if you're going to be riding a bike for 2 hours, 2.5 hours, and you want to do some sort of, at any form of intensity, good luck. And this is just low carb lost, man. It was all the 2015s, 16s, keto, even Chris Froome, Team Sky, whatever, low carb this, fasted rides, it lost. Resounding 10-8, 10-8, 10-8 rounds. High carbohydrates won. That's just, the proof is in the tape. Every world tour team that's performing well, high carbohydrates, way higher carb intake per hour during races than compared to back then, and they're going way faster. So, and some of those guys from those Sky days didn't change their mind. They're still doing low carb stuff, and it just fucks them. No recovery, weights fluctuating, yo-yoing. Whereas, yeah, if you look at the Tour de France, they're trying to perform every day. They don't lose any weight. How can that be possible, to burn 6,000 calories a day and not lose any weight? Well, it's because they're performing at high intensity, so they have to eat a lot, so they can't be in a caloric deficit, because if you're in a caloric deficit, by the time you get to week 3, you're finished. It's over. So necessarily, while I'm just trying to lose a lot of weight fast, it will be a lot of aerobic, zone 2 work, still with enough carbohydrates, a predominantly carbohydrate rich diet, but a bit of fasted walking or jogging here or there when you wake up, that's fine. That's mainly because I didn't really feel like stuffing any food in when I woke up. The playground that I used to play in when I grew up, half of it seems to have been condemned. So when you always revisit things from when you were a kid, and you go back when you're an adult or older, you realize how much bigger it seemed to you as a child. And this is like a big playground to me, but I axed on these swings. Remember, I axed myself, so bad. And they've been rightly, at some point, 25 years later, condemned for hurting me, I presume. Here you can see there's a turf battle between the lorikeets and the, I think, magpies. Lorikeets and maybe it's a bowerbird. There's more lorikeets, but the magpies are bigger. second walk of the day. It's supposed to be the run, but it's hot, and to be honest, I just feel absolutely fucked. So the goal is to lose weight. First goal. Second goal is to get fast. But the first goal is to lose weight, which means instead of doing nothing, going out and getting injured, just go burn an extra 250, 300 calories. That puts me in the position to be in that deficit, that target deficit for today. And so it's boring and not even that difficult either, but it's just moving. And that's going to just keep that consistency, will move everything in the right direction. So second walk, not as long. We'll be back running on the weekend. Here you can see one of Australia's most famous birds, the kookaburra, sitting in what I think is a gum tree, which is a song, old kookaburra sitting in a gum tree. Not exactly the best time, but yeah, love them. Maybe it's a kingfisher. It might even be a kingfisher. I think it's a kookaburra. They make the most incredible sound, but he's not going to sing for me right now. They do in the morning and the afternoons usually. Invasive species, Indian myna. They're really aggressive too. Daily weigh-in, can we have lost 1 kilo in a day? Dude, I just realized pasta is a criminal with the calorie counting. I usually would punch a whole bag of these. I would eat like, not maybe 500 grams, but like 300 grams of pasta. And it says on the thing that there's 352 calories per 100 grams. So I would eat 1,000 calories from the pasta. And then with the sauce, you know, your basic sauce, I would eat like, if I use the whole jar, 200 calories, I'd eat 1,200 calories from pasta. And I'd just be like, yeah, that's normal. Whereas, so instead we're gonna run with the soup. We're gonna go chicken sweet corn soup. We're not in our own house, so we're finding things. So chicken sweet corn soup, it's only 358 calories for the whole thing. It's like 500 grams. Maybe we'll put a piece of bread in there. So pasta versus, I think rice is gonna have to be the winner.